Hey guys, Coaster Crab here. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is not suggested by anybody. I just want to do a list I'm actually sure on because I was gonna do top 5 gigas and top 10 Intamin accelerator coasters, but I haven't fully made up my mind for either of those lists. So I'm gonna do something I'm pretty much sure on. I have to say, all inverts are actually pretty close to being tied on this list. Some are just slightly better than others. So don't hate on me if I say one's better than the other. Maybe it's just because the other one is better theming and then the rest is equal. Maybe it's just as one has a better drop. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. I did try and put as many underrated coasters as I could find on the list. And this definitely is not your usual invert list. So anyways, let's not waste another minute and enjoy the video, guys. Alright guys, at number 10 we have Nemesis Inferno, and this seems to be an invert a lot of people forget about when they do top 10 inverts list. One cool thing is it's the only invert to have interlocking corkscrews, although it doesn't really give the same effect as on a normal coaster. But I still don't get why people forget this. I mean, it's intense. I love the color scheme. The drop looks good. It's sort of just your average drop. An intense loop, fun corkscrews. And sure, it's a short ride, but overall it just looks like a pretty good ride to me. And I don't get why people forget about it so much. Is it the best in the park? Yeah, probably. That or Stealth. I don't think super highly of Swarm. I think it's pretty overrated. Best in the UK? Not even close. We all know one of them. And of course, Blackpool Pleasure Beach is getting a new coaster in 2018. 2018. And that looks like it could beat the other coaster we all know that's on this list. So I think it's probably like third or fourth. I don't know if Stealth is better, maybe not. But yeah, I think it's a good underrated invert that's intense, fun, and a lot of people sadly forget about it. Alright, we're going from underrated to overrated. Number 9 is Afterburn at Carowinds. Now, of course we all know the reason this is overrated. Coaster Studios. And here's the thing. I'm not saying it's a bad invert or anything, but he said this is a glossy, smooth invert. Now, I'm not saying it's not because one of my favorite YouTubers said it isn't a glossy, smooth invert. I'm just saying it because every POV I watch, it really does not look smooth. It looks pretty rough to me. And when I say pretty, I mean like considering it's a B&M. I'm not saying it looks like aerodynamics rough or anything, but compared to some other coasters B&M made, it does look a little rough, but it does look pretty intense and fun. The loop looks good, the theming looks pretty good, so overall, it's a pretty good ride. The only reason I didn't put it higher was really no reason. I just sort of think there are better versions of the better inverts, so yeah, still a great ride. I could see this being the best invert, but just for me, I don't think it would be my favorite. Once again, moving from one thing to another, now moving from overrated to two underrateds, number 8 is tied for Talon in Patriot. Or Talon. I say Talon. That better be how you pronounce it, because I will not believe anybody that says it's pronounced Talon. Anyways, so both of these are not necessarily old school B&M inverts, but they are older ones. They're not old school as in like Raptor and Afterburn old school invert, but they are some of the older ones, and of course that means they're going to be intense. Now the reason I did not put this at 8 and another one at 7 is because they're pretty similar in layouts and they're both pretty intense. And they both have the same 4 inversions. And overall, it's just very similar rides. So, like, it sort of even seems like a clone, but it's not. Well, I don't think it is. Maybe I should watch a POV and maybe it turns out it is. But I'm super sure it isn't. Anyways, but they're both just such similar rides that I don't want to put one above the other anyways. Which one just looks the teensy weensy idiot bit better? Maybe Talon, but they both have amazing layouts. Talon just seems to be the slightly more forceful one. And moving from underrated to underrated again, number 7 is Alpengeist. Now, of course, we all know why this is underrated. Coaster Studios again. Ugh, he just really ruins every ride, doesn't he? I'm kidding. He's a good channel. Don't start screaming at me, Coaster Studios fanboys. Alright, so this is the tallest invert at a grand height of 195 feet, nearly a hyper. So that's pretty cool. Now, of course, some people do say it's rough. To me, Afterburn still seems way rougher. Oh, once again, I'm not trying to hate on Afterburn. To me, this also sort of seems like just sort of a bigger version of Afterburn to me. I don't know. But it seems like a great ride to me. It's one of the few inverts that does not start with a vertical loop. The others being Nemesis, Osiris, the Dueling Dragon Challenge, I forgot which one, I think it's blue, that starts with an Momentu. What else? There is, yeah, I think that might be it. Maybe I'm missing one more, but I don't know. Anyways, so I think it's a great ride, looks pretty intense and fun, and I honestly don't understand the hate. To me, it looks like a great ride. Very fun, and the theming looks pretty good too. At number 6 is Catan. Now, I definitely think this could be way higher on the list, and the only reason it's not is really because the others don't seem more intense or crazier. They just sort of seem a little more fun than Catan. That being said, Catan still looks like a very fun ride. Now, it is a simple invert, but it is intense. It's pretty good. Now, the mid-course brake run, yeah, I guess it sort of takes away from the speed, but the corkscrews still look intense. And to me, it's sort of like an upgraded Raptor, like Raptor on steroids, as people like to say, because somehow roller coasters can take steroids, which I did not know they could. Anyways, so Catan looks like a great ride. I could place it higher on the list. In fact, I could even see this being number 1. For quite a while, I did think this was the best invert, but now I'm starting to think that it's not. It still looks great, and I'd say it's about tied with 4 and 5, maybe even 3. But it's a great ride, and I really hope I go to Italy. Well, I actually probably will go to Italy. I really hope I'll go to Merbalandia, whatever it's called, sorry. Alright, I know in my top 10 coasters in Europe video I said this was the best invert, but I had no idea what I was thinking then. That being said, I still think it's awesome, and it could be the best invert, I don't know. So this is like the original Banshee, sort of like a smaller Banshee, but better theming, and yeah. So, of course, it does not have a pre-drop. It starts with a dive loop, and it's overall a pretty nice long ride. Now, it isn't the most forceful or intense. The loop looks intense, and you do have that pretty tight turn at the end. But the rest of the ride doesn't look super intense. I have to say the strong point of this ride is probably the uniqueness and the theming, but that might be it. But it still looks like a great ride, and probably the best coaster in France. I don't really think Alpina Blitz or Alpina, I don't know what you say, Blitz could beat it. At number 4 is Gigantic Osiris or Banshee at Kings Island. Wow, that was a weird voice. Anyways, number 4 is Banshee. I love this ride. I have to say, the best part of the ride is not intensity or airtime or anything. I mean, you can't get airtime on an invert anyways, but this is probably the most fun invert. It's just very fun. You're flying everywhere. It's just such a fun, enjoyable ride, and in my opinion, the best coaster at Kings Island. Yeah, I did like it more than Diamondback. And I do think this could definitely be the best, simply because it's the most fun. And yeah, it also has pretty good stats. It's the longest invert and the fastest invert. And not just that, I mean, at the bottom with the pretzel knot, that's pretty intense. And then you also have a lot of hang time in the ride. So overall, I think it's a pretty good balanced invert, but definitely not the most intense, which is okay. Not all rides need to be intense. But just as an overall ride, I do think it can be beat. Alright, at number 3 is Montu, another invert on the list I have written. So I love this ride. It was very hard for me to pick between Montu and Banshee, but in the end I think I'm just going to pick Montu for better theming and more intensity. Now, Banshee probably is more fun. I haven't been on Montu for about a year, which is like not that crazy because, I mean, I'm not going to go to Busch Gardens all the time anyways. But when I rode this, originally it was my third favorite coaster. Of course, now it's in the top, I believe it's in the top 10. It beat quite a few coasters now. My list has changed quite a bit. Leviathan has dropped. Fahrenheit has raised. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so Montu is very fun, and it has my favorite vertical loop on any coaster. That's the fun fact about it. It's pretty intense. Now, sadly, I did not get to ride in the front or the back. I only rode in the 2 middle seats. I believe I went in row 5, in row 6 or 4, I forget. But I don't think I ever went on the outer side, because at the time I was still sort of scared of roller coasters. This was at the time when I was like terrified to ride Behemoth and stuff, so yeah. But it's a very fun ride, great theming. It's a pretty long ride too. I do love the, what's it called? Batwing, although it is trimmed, which sort of sucks. I think it definitely deserves the spot if the trims are turned off. But if the trims aren't turned off, I do think it could be lower on the list. Sadly, I did not ever get a ride without trims, but that didn't stop it from being an awesome ride. Alright guys, so you know how I said that Catan is like Raptor on steroids? Well, this is like Catan ate a raptor, took steroids, ate a super mushroom from Mario, pooped on an Intimidator 305, and then, like, did something else, I don't know. Anyways, number 2 is Pyrenees. This is an epic roller coaster. Now, I'm not sure if it's located in Europe, because if it is, then it should have been in my Europe list, but I'm pretty sure it's Asian. I don't know, like, we're in Asia. I know there's one sort of similar to it, but not as good in Korea, but I don't think this is in Korea. I don't know. Anyways, so this ride is crazy. So it's sort of just your basic invert, but super intense. Tighter turns, way more relentless. It's sort of like Batman at the beginning. You have a vertical loop, a 0G roll, a vertical loop. Then you do this crazy intense turn into Cobra roll. And yeah, this ride just looks crazy. I don't get why but barely anybody puts it on their inverts list. I think it is amazing, and it definitely deserves to be on more invert lists. Right, and you all know it. Of course, at number 1 is Flight Deck. Now, why did I put it at number 1? Well, here's the thing. I didn't. Don't worry. I wouldn't put Flight Deck at number 1. Still a great invert. Probably like 11 or 12. I don't know. But there are some crazier ones. Of course, we all know what number 1 is. Flight Deck is great, but let's just get to number 1. Number 1 is, of course, the one, the only, Nemesis. Of course it's number 1. Now, definitely should have been higher than Ozzer is in my Europe list. But anyways, I don't like to continuously think about my old lists, even though it's one of my newest lists. I think I'd really only switch that, though, and maybe put in Goliath or Colossus. Probably not, though. Anyways, so number 1 is Nemesis. And here's why. First of all, definitely the best theming out of all of these inverts. It's themed super well. 2, pretty tight turns, so of course it's going to be intense. The corkscrews look awesome. It's one of the only inverts to not start with a vertical loop. And speaking of the vertical loop, that looks like crazy. This whole ride just looks relentless and amazing. I've never really heard any bad reviews about this. Either this or Construction 18, I know that won't be the real name, but I'm just using it for now, will be the best coaster in the UK, because Construction 13 sort of seems like a slightly not as good Helix and like a slightly downgraded Terron. So, I do think both of them are better than this, so I don't know. But let's just talk about Nemesis. It is crazy, relentless from start to finish. Crazy drops, crazy awesome. The whole ride just looks amazing. So of course I had to put it at number 1. Hey guys, thanks for watching so much. Hope you enjoyed the video. So yeah, I know I sort of screwed up with my Europe list. I do consider it one of my best lists though. I think I'll probably put Nefa skin on it, but I don't know if you'll count that because Turkey's sort of like Asian and European, like just like Russia. But anyways, so hope you enjoyed the video. Of course, we always have Coaster Quiz. Coaster Quest hasn't been done for a while. Guess you guys hate it. The invert introduced which of these inversions? A corkscrew, B, a dive loop, C, a cobra roll, D, a vertical loop, or E, a pretzel loop. This should be easy. Maybe not the easiest, but I think you can tell at least 2 of those inversions were not, well, 3 were not introduced by an invert. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you later. Bye.